think about like places you're straight up not allowed to visit,
Yeah.
not just, someone's backyard or whatever. I'm talking about places that are like officially off limits with some pretty serious reasons why.
Right. It's interesting, isn't it? These zones that are just completely closed off, each with like a whole story behind them that tells you something about what we as a society decide is important, or maybe even what we're afraid of.
Yeah, exactly. And that's like what we're diving into today. We've got info on 10 places around the world that you, me, pretty much everyone is never going to get to see.
But the reasons why those places are off limits, that's what's really fascinating. I mean, we're talking about protecting cultures, knowledge, even just straight up avoiding a certain death. It's like a crash course in the restricted parts of our planet, the places most of us will only ever read about.
So yeah, 10 unique spots, each forbidden for a reason, whether it's history, nature, or something else entirely. It makes you think about what we as humans decide is so important that we have to keep it separate. Okay, so first up, let's head to the Bay of Bengal, specifically North Sentinel Island. This place is unique, home to the Sentinelese tribe, one of the last groups of people who have had, like, zero contact with the outside world. And they want to keep it that way.
And they're serious about it. We've got reports of them using, well, lethal force arrows, spears to keep anyone from getting close. It shows you how much they value their autonomy.
For sure. But it's not just about respecting their wishes, which is obviously super important. The Indian government has actually banned anyone from going near the island. The big concern is that the Sentinelese could be wiped out by diseases that are, like, common everywhere else. Since they've been isolated for so long, they don't have the immunity that most of us do. So this no-entry policy is really about protecting their very existence.
It's a weird mix, right? This incredible self-reliance and also this extreme vulnerability. It makes you think about how hard it is to protect a culture when the world is so interconnected.
All right, let's shift gears completely. From a remote island to the heart of Vatican City, the Vatican Secret Archives. Now, picture this. Not just some dusty old books, but over 50 miles of shelves full of documents from, like, centuries ago. Letters from kings, papal decrees, who knows what else is in there.
I mean, just the size of the archives is mind-blowing, right? It shows you how much power institutions have to collect and control information. And the fact that only a handful of super qualified scholars can even get a peek inside, well, that just makes you wonder what they're hiding, what's so important. It has to be kept secret.
Exactly. All that secrecy just adds to the mystery. We know they've got stuff from thousands of years ago, maybe even documents that could change how we see history, or, maybe even some really out there stuff. But why keep it all locked away? It makes you think about how much power knowledge really has.
It's a big question. Should we have access to all this history? Or is it better for some things to stay hidden? I don't know. It's tricky.
Okay, time for a change of scenery. Let's head to the Nevada desert, to a place you've definitely heard of. Area 51. UFOs, aliens, super secret government projects. This place is legendary.
And for the longest time, the government wouldn't even admit it existed. It wasn't until 2013 that they finally said, yeah, okay, it's there. Of course, that just made people even more curious. And if you try to go there, instant detention, no-fly zone, they don't mess around.
Nope, they don't. And while everyone loves the alien stories, the truth is probably a lot more down to earth. Probably top secret military research, testing new aircraft, that kind of thing. But that secrecy, it keeps the mystery alive. Makes you wonder what kind of technology they're working on. Stuff the public's never supposed to see.
It really shows the tension between, like, national security and the public's right to know what's going on, how much secrecy is too much.
Okay, from government secrets to something a little more,
Yeah.
well, bitey. Let's go to Ilha da Queimada Grande off the coast of Brazil. You might know it better as Snake Island. And yeah, the name kind of gives it away.
No kidding. So this isn't a place that's off limits because of some government rule, but because nature decided to make it a no-go zone. We're talking about an island that's absolutely crawling with golden lancet vipers. Their venom is super potent, can mess you up real fast.
And we're not talking about a few snakes here and there.
Yeah.
Some estimates say there are like 5 snakes per square meter. That's a lot of snakes. So yeah, the Brazilian government has banned all visitors. Even scientists who want to study the island have to have a military escort.
Snake Island is a good reminder that nature can be just as dangerous as anything humans can create. Some places are just meant to be left alone.
Now, for a location that's restricted for a much more positive reason, let's fly over to Iceland and check out Surtsey Island. This island literally popped up out of the ocean in 1963 because of a volcano. Brand new land.
And get this, The reason it's off limits is for science. It's like a giant natural laboratory where scientists can watch how an ecosystem develops from scratch without any human interference.
Exactly. No tourists, no casual visitors, just scientists in special suits so they don't accidentally contaminate anything. The whole point is to see how nature works on its own.
It's a rare chance to see the beginnings of life on a new island, totally untouched by humans. It shows how important it is to understand and protect natural processes, even if that means staying away.
All right, time to add a little Cold War mystery back into the mix. Let's head to Russia, to a town called Mezgori. And this is a place that's so secretive, it's said that it doesn't even show up on most maps.
Yeah, the whole vibe around Mesgori is like super hush-hush. It's thought to be connected to Mount Yamantau, which a lot of people think is either a massive underground bunker for nuclear war or some other super secret military base. And I mean, no one has any real photos, no confirmed visitors. The whole place is locked down by the Russian government.
And that lack of information just makes it more intriguing, right? Like, what are they hiding that's so important? It makes you think about all the secret stuff that governments do, the stuff we're never supposed to know about.
It's like a classic Cold War scenario, but in the 21st century. Makes you wonder if some things never really change.
Okay, let's go from modern-day secrecy to ancient history. We're going to China, to the tomb of Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of China. We've all seen pictures of the amazing terracotta army near his tomb, but the actual burial chamber, still sealed.
And there are a couple of reasons for that. Old texts talk about all sorts of traps in there to stop grave robbers, and also rivers of liquid mercury. And get this, scientists have actually detected high levels of mercury around the tomb. So it's not just a story, it's real.
Which is crazy to think about. So, despite the fact that this tomb could hold a ton of historical treasures, the Chinese government is leaving it alone for now. It shows you how sometimes the risks of exploring are just too high, even if the potential rewards are huge.
Yeah, it's a tough call, right? How much are we willing to risk to uncover the past?
Okay, now for a place with a really dark history. Poveglia Island in Italy. It's often called the Island of the Dead, for good reason.
Yeah, this island has seen a lot of suffering. For centuries, it was used as a quarantine zone for people with the plague. Later, it became a mental asylum, and there are tons of stories about abuse and mistreatment there.
So yeah, it's no surprise that locals consider the island cursed or haunted. It's now abandoned and illegal to visit. And even people who, like, hunt ghosts for a living, they tend to stay away from Poveglia. It's just got this creepy, unsettling feeling, a combination of real tragedy and scary stories that have built up over time.
It shows you how powerful a place's history can be, how events from the past can still affect us today.
For our next stop, let's head to France, to the Lascaux Caves. These caves contain some of the most incredible prehistoric paintings ever found. We're talking 17,000 years old, some of the earliest examples of human art.
And because of how important they are to our understanding of early humans, they had to be closed off. Turns out the very act of people visiting the caves was damaging the paintings. Breathing, lights, even the bacteria we carry around, it was all causing irreversible damage.
It's kind of ironic, right? Wanting to see these amazing works of art almost destroyed them. So they sealed the caves in 1963, and now only a few scientists can go inside under very controlled conditions. Luckily, they made a really accurate replica so the public can still see what the caves look like without putting the originals at risk.
It's a tough lesson about protecting cultural heritage. Sometimes, even with the best intentions, we can do more harm than good.
And for our final stop, we're going down under to Pine Gap in Australia. Some people call it the Aussie Area 51. And for good reason. This place is shrouded in secrecy.
It's a joint U.S.-Australian defense facility, and the activities there are top secret. Most likely, it's involved in, like, global communications monitoring, maybe even controlling drones.
It's located in the middle of the desert, with tight security and very little information getting out. Even within the Australian government, it's thought that only a few people know the full story of what goes on at Pine Gap.
Oh.
It makes you wonder what they're doing that's so sensitive, so important to national security.
Pine Gap is like a perfect example of the world of modern intelligence gathering. There's so much going on behind the scenes that we're not even aware of, all in the name of national security.
So there you have it. 10 places around the world that are off limits for all sorts of reasons. Protecting vulnerable cultures, preserving natural wonders, keeping secrets both ancient and modern. It's a reminder that there's still so much mystery in the world, places we're not allowed to go. Stories we're not allowed to hear.
Yeah, it really makes you think about all the things we don't know and why some things are better left unexplored. It's like a reminder that our knowledge of the world is still limited no matter how much we think we understand.
Exactly. And it makes you wonder, what are the secrets we'll never uncover? What are the places we'll never be able to visit? And maybe are some things better left that way?
Now, here's something to ponder, something for you to think about. If you could know the big secret of just one of these places, with no danger to yourself, which one would you choose? What mystery is the most intriguing to you?
That's a really good question, and it's something to think about as we wrap up today's deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep that curiosity alive.